Boa tarde a todos. Hoje nós recebemos uma pessoa muito especial para o mundo da sociedade da cirurgia ambulatorial, do ponto de vista internacional. Hoje nós vamos receber a professora Beverly Phillip. E ela vai falar sobre o tema do desenvolvimento e como está o desenvolvimento em termos internacionais da cirurgia ambulatorial, né? E como nós estamos hoje praticando no mundo inteiro a cirurgia ambulatorial. A professora Beverly Phillip é professora de Anestesiologia na Escola de Medicina da Universidade de Harvard, é diretora fundadora da Unidade de Cirurgia Ambulatorial do Brigham and Women's Hospital, em Boston, nos Estados Unidos, e atualmente é a presidente eleita da Sociedade Americana de Anestesiologia, a ASA, a maior organização do gênero em todo o planeta com mais de 50 mil membros. Ela também atuou como presidente do Comitê de Gestão da Qualidade e Administração Departamental da ASA, onde ainda presidiu o Comitê de Cuidados Cirúrgicos Ambulatoriais, assim como a reunião anual de 2009. Ela também é ex-presidente da Associação Internacional para a Cirurgia Ambulatorial, que é a IAAS, e é ex-presidente também da Sociedade de Anestesiologia Ambulatorial, a famosa SAMBA, nos Estados Unidos. E é atualmente editora-chefe da revista internacional da IAAS, a revista Ambulatory Surgery. So, Professor Beverly Phillip, we're very glad to have you here with us today. I was just introducing you to our audience, and please make yourself comfortable. The word is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you really for the opportunity to join you at Sobercom and contribute to the development of this amazing young organization. What I have the opportunity to talk with you about today is the worldwide development of ambulatory surgery. A good place to begin is with some definitions. And these are the definitions of the International Association for Ambulatory Surgery. And the definition is a surgical day case is a patient who's admitted for an investigation or operation on a planned non-stay basis, but who nonetheless requires facilities for recovery. So the surgery has to be planned to go home, but big enough to require recovery facilities. And also, the whole procedure should not require an overnight stay in a hospital. So that is what we are using as our definition here, the IAAS definition of ambulatory surgery. So what's happening around the world? One place to begin that you can get data is from the European Union that puts out these publications that you can download from the web every 2 years. Europe at a glance with some health indicators. Let's look how ambulatory surgery is doing in Europe. And everybody says, well, ambulatory surgery is very easy for the strong and healthy adult. So let's look at the data for the rest of the population. Here is some data for the elderly patient, looking at cataract surgeries. And these are the percentages of surgery done as ambulatory in various countries across the European Union. And it goes from 99% in the Netherlands or Denmark down to 35% in Bulgaria and Poland, with a median value of about 84%. But why are there country differences? There are two major reasons. One is the payment systems in those countries where it is low pay more for inpatient stays. Or else there are rules and regulations that slow down, constrain the development of ambulatory surgery. But fortunately, it is changing now. In several countries, they have introduced a DRG payment system, and these very often favor ambulatory surgery. because you're getting paid for doing the work rather than using as much expenses as possible. So a DRG system is favoring ambulatory surgery, is being introduced in Serbia, France, and Denmark. In Hungary, the government has removed the budget cap on the number of ambulatory surgeries being performed in hospitals. In the UK, there was a financial incentive given, 300 British pounds per case for selected surgeries if the patient is managed as ambulatory surgeries. So these countries have started to directly address the two major problems that we see in Europe that slow down ambulatory surgery. Well, let's then look at the other vulnerable population, children, and here is data for tonsillectomy. And you see a similar very spread. In Finland and Sweden, 70, 80%, and in a number of the other countries, many of the other countries that are otherwise forward in day surgery, very, very little. So what's going on here? Well, the tradition, when you read all the literature, what they come to describe is that many of these countries have a tradition that is good to keep children for at least one night in the hospital after the operation. Well, this is old news. One of the early proponents of ambulatory surgery, Nicol, a surgeon in Glasgow, in 1909 wrote, he disagreed back then. He wrote, I have no alternative to the opinion that the treatment of a large number of the cases present treating as inpatients constitute a waste of resources. The results obtained in the outpatient department at 1/10 of the cost are equally good. The problem is overcoming inertia. If you look to Central Europe and Eastern Europe, they have a different angle to the problem. In Eastern Europe, the healthcare sectors are characterized by excessive infrastructure and too many buildings, too many empty buildings and structures. And because there are informal payments that are given to the surgeons in particular, there is effectively systematic corruption leading to a gray economy and increased out-of-pocket payments. I mean, people write about this. Health expenditures there have fallen because budgets are becoming tighter. So what has happened is you have large systems with low funding, insufficient and underpaid doctors and other oral health public servants who are leaving these countries for that reason, and overall inadequate medical equipment, drugs, and supplies. The people there sum it up as gross inefficiencies and outdated technologies. What do you need? They say they need competition and financial incentives. Change is coming there as well. We have vibrant ambulatory surgery programs beginning, particularly in Hungary, where they have gotten EU funding support to develop the program, but also in smaller countries on their own, Croatia, Serbia, Moldova, Romania. That, and what has fostered this develop, I have to here give credit absolutely to my most favorite organization, the International Association for Ambulatory Surgery. Like you, as you model on, this is a multinational and specifically multidisciplinary organization dedicated to promoting the worldwide development and growth of high quality ambulatory surgery. And I want to here point out that this is being part of this organization gives you not only information, but again, a community of healthcare professionals of every kind. Again, it is surgeons, nurses, all individuals. What the IAAS has, member countries have done is set up Teach the Teacher programs. These are multidisciplinary teams, teachers and participants, leading to multi-specialty education with ambulatory surgery for administrators, nursing, anesthesia, surgery, all together. Now, I want to now go on though to the US, because I want to give you a whole world round view. We have been doing ambulatory surgery for a while. This is some recent data where we looked at the growth of ambulatory surgery over a 10-year period, 1996 to 2006. The blue colors are the inpatient surgery. The red is the ambulatory surgery. And over 10 years, the visits you can see in both columns are going up. The number of procedures are going up. So by 2006, 61% of the procedures being done are being done as ambulatory patients. And I want to point out this National Survey of Ambulatory Surgery is from Medicare. That is our public health care system for people over 65. So it is in this older population that we're seeing this high percentage of ambulatory surgery. Also, in this population, we have, in addition to hospital-based units, an equal number almost of freestanding ambulatory surgery centers. And here too, the elderly are going with more side diseases are also going to these freestanding surgery centers. So how did we get to this point? The story is really very straightforward. Start with this one data set that started in 1981. We had 20 million procedures, 80% inpatient, 20% outpatient. 20 years later, it's flipped. And we have double the number of procedures, 40 million procedures, 20% inpatient, 80% outpatient. And in fact, it is still growing. It is probably in the mid 80% now. What happened? In the 1982 and 83, there was a change in the payment laws for both the physicians and for the hospitals, that both got paid the same if they did a procedure, the same procedure as an inpatient or an outpatient. And it became obvious that people would it was better financially for them, just making it the same. And you can see that the percentage of outpatient grew year by year by year. The point here that comes back over and over again is payment parity for all kinds of surgery. Same payment for the same procedure, no matter where you do it. So something from Latin America, there has been colleagues of yours active in developing ambulatory anesthesia and surgery for a while. This is a report from the CLASA meeting, our colleague Alejandro Ricard. And he estimated at that meeting that in that region only, he thought, as little as 20%. Isolated reports here and there, variety of surgery, private ASCs, ambulatory surgery centers. Why? Why so little? He points out there is in most countries in South America an absence of national public health policies to promote ambulatory surgery, and also an absence of either financial incentives, which would be great, but at least payment parity. And again, as everywhere, inertia to change. But change is coming. Here's another gold star kind of advance. There are now government concerns about long waiting lists. The citizens are complaining and change is happening. And that, of course, leads us directly to the founding of your society of SoberCom that is joining CLASA and a variety of societies that have in Central and South America. Many of them are anesthesiology societies as yet are developing towards components that are multidisciplinary interest in ambulatory surgical care. Well, what about Africa? I picked this map because it shows there are a lot of little different countries in Africa, and the problems couldn't be more different country by country. South Africa, public hospital funds mismanaged, a lot of corruption and incompetency, shortages, broken equipment, deteriorating equipment, and there is no national health care. The reason is they simply cannot afford it, because since 20% of the population in 2015 had AIDS, they simply do not have the money for any national health care. But on the private side, there is a Day Hospital Association of South Africa, and they are competing with the large private big hospital networks because the cost in the day hospital is a half to 2/3 of what is in the big system. In And what is really exciting is these day hospitals are treating both the working poor and the well-to-do. This nice facility is in fact at the edge of Soweto, and it is a day hospital. So we're getting a real start on providing better care for the citizens of South Africa. The rest of South Africa, general environmental problems, power cuts, regular bad roads, bad water, let alone security. Egypt actually has a beginnings of a very good day surgery system. They have separate ambulatory surgery hospitals in Cairo that are doing very advanced ambulatory surgery. There, the issue is getting it out to the rest of the people in the rest of the country. Uganda, surgical camps where people walk in from the country and ambulatory, walk back in the field a few hours afterwards. There is in the cities a collaborative effort in Kampala with Padua that has been going on for many years. There's ambulatory surgery reported in the literature from Niger and Sudan. The most interesting stories are out of Kenya, where ambulatory surgery is only for the poor. Only for the poor get the good care because the well-to-do prefer to pay to stay. They get the bad care. The poor patients actually get much better care. Well, let's go over to China. China's another amazing success story. This is the China Ambulatory Surgery Association, very much like yours, multidisciplinary. In 2012, there were, in all of China, 20 hospitals had ambulatory surgery programs. Led by an innovative thinker, he put together a multidisciplinary organization, set up protocols, and demonstrated that it could be done. 2 years later, there were 100 hospitals with ambulatory surgery programs. When this group showed the government that this worked, they got government funding support, and by 2016, 2,000 hospitals in China have ambulatory surgery associated. It's now grown all over the country. Australia, another success story. In 1981, the first day surgery committee with guidelines were formed. By 1996, you have a multidisciplinary organization. Here the blue is the, in Australia, it is 40% inpatient, 60% outpatient. What I think is even more interesting is the rate of growth. Inpatient is increasing 2% a year. Ambulatory surgery is increasing 4% a year. And it's not just China and Australia. There are vibrant and successful ambulatory surgery programs throughout Asia. These are some of the real centers of where things are going on. Tokyo, Singapore, Hong Kong, Manila, Bangkok, and a growing program in India. So to sum up, we're looking now a sort of around the world tour of ambulatory surgery. How are we doing? How do we get the rest of the world to get on the path for all these success stories? And you can see that it's not just the wealthy countries of the United States and Europe, but even out in the dirt roads of China, in Africa, and around, and in India. What can we do? The answer is actually really the story you've heard, the same story over and over and over again. You have to not put barriers. What is needed is financial parity, same pay for physicians and facilities as the starter. Even better would be supportive payments. This is your opportunity and your necessity to work with your government, to work with these, to show this worldwide data that it is worth the government's while to spend less and get better care. Second, the part of the program consistently has been to remove regulatory barriers based on these really old-fashioned fears that it's not safe for the old, not safe for the young. It was safe back in 1909. Remove these regulatory barriers and then work with the government and insurance to get their support. And I think what really drives this overall is that it's better for people. There are really, the people of all countries should have safe, necessary surgical care in a timely manner and at reasonable cost. So to conclude, how are we doing with worldwide development of ambulatory surgery? Well, we are making real progress. And I think SOBRCAM is a real star poised to make great progress in the area. We reach to our goal, which is better care for more patients at lower cost. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Beverly. It was a wonderful lecture. And well, you brought everything that we really need to bring to our reality, which is this discussion, which is the discussion of the viability. And so everything that is viable, the safety is put in question. So, oh no, maybe this isn't safe for a patient. So is it? Where are the evidence about it? Where are the data? And you brought us lots of data, lots of figures on that.
And as you work with your government, if you need these figures, anyone contact all your friends at IAAS to give them to you. The EU data is there, public.
And I rely on them for that. Well, you've been living at your own skin the theme of your lecture, which is ambulatory surgery worldwide. And for your achievements, you're also worldwide recognized for your many contributions. You brought many insights on what happened in so many different countries regarding ambulatory surgery and how health systems can be entirely transformed with such a simple idea, which is to provide the best possible care and the right extension to patient needs. And this idea just seems elegant and effective, no matter if a country is rich or poor, very large or tiny. And you said that with every word. And it seems to be a question of engagement and organization.
Yeah.
You have seen, you have lived, and actively took part in many transformations regarding ambulatory surgery. What message would you give to Brazil and Latin America to succeed? And which advices could you give to SOBRCAM and to my fellow colleagues in this journey?
The first advice is a statement. You will get it done. It will happen. Even in the United States, what started it all was a small number of healthcare professionals. At that point, surgeons and anesthesiologists and nurses with them who knew this was a good idea, and they developed the programs, brought the data repeatedly, and kept bothering the government, kept bothering the insurance to show them that it was better. This is, sometimes we hear other criticisms that the only reason to do this, for example, in the private sector, is to make money. The money came much later. It took them longer to convince the insurance companies. It was the healthcare safety and the value to the patient is exactly the approach to take.
Yes, and I used to say that it's not just a matter of making money, because when you save money and you can put this money into better goals in health, it's a question of democratized access.
Yes, it is.
You
and
agree?
It works in the private sector and in the public sector. Yeah, no one has too much money.
So it's something that works in the private sector and the public sector, in wealthy countries and poor countries, and big countries and small countries. So why not to do it? Why not to perform it? So thank you very, very, very much, Beverly. We are very excited because you joined us and you accepted this challenge. And your message will be translated, subtitled, and we will put it for all of our Brazilian colleagues. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. I am sure it's going to be an exciting future right in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you.